USC beat Notre Dame yesterday, 38-27. I got to tell you, I think you're right. And by you, I mean anyone out there who has been lecturing me on Caleb Williams and how he should be the Heisman frontrunner. Now, yesterday kind of worked itself out on multiple fronts as it relates to the Heisman. Caleb Williams is probably the best player in the country right now. He's playing outside his mind. I saw him in person at the Rose Bowl against UCLA. And he is so dynamic. He is everything that you want in a quarterback. I was talking about Stroud a little while ago and how he does not do this kind of stuff right here. Boy, Caleb Williams couldn't care less, man. He will run at a moment's notice, and not only will he put up some yardage in the rushing category, that's a fraction of the value of his mobility. He makes so many plays. He's like Bryce Young. He makes so many plays on broken plays. He makes so many improv plays. And I'll tell you what he does better than anyone, including Bryce Young. There's nobody in this sport, and quite frankly, there aren't many of them in the NFL who have the ball come out of their hand off platform with the velocity that Caleb Williams does. If you've ever just watched him, please don't watch the set in the pocket, 3-step, 5-step drop, crow hop it and turn it loose. A lot of guys have some juice and zip on the ball when they do that. Caleb Williams throws across his body all contorted, and it's on a rope. Receivers sitting there fanning their hands afterwards. He's good. He's got accuracy too. So it's something that doesn't always show up in the box score. You need to watch his games. The box score doesn't always tell the entire tale for him. Padlock stat alert in this game. Big padlock stat. Important padlock stat as it relates to USC and where they may be headed. 204-90. What was that, you may ask? Those were the rushing totals in yesterday's game. And if you tell me that USC is going to top Notre Dame 204-90 on the ground, I'm going to tell you, I think the Trojans just won that game. Yes, they did. Austin Jones, the replacement for Travis Dye. You know, that's the 1,000-yard rusher who they lost and was supposed to knock them off balance. Instead, they're just playing their best ball of the year. He went for 154 and a touchdown. I got a second padlock stat, a rare double padlock stat here. It's very simple, and it's such a theme with Southern Cal this year. +2 in the turnover margin, +2. For those keeping track at home, that now puts them at +22 turnovers on the year. We have now started keeping a separate stat here, and it is points off turnover margin. They are +114 in net points off turnovers this year. That's actually a stat with USC. They were the more physical team. That's the big takeaway, guys. They played Notre Dame. Notre Dame, even if they lose, you're supposed to have watched the game and said, hey, man, they bloodied their nose. Southern Cal may have won, but they're going to feel this the next day. They were the more physical team. I mean, they should take immense amounts of pride in this thing. I know Lincoln Riley, I think in his postgame, called it the most complete game they've played so far this year, which means they're peaking at the right time, which is something he's got some experience with dating back to his days at Oklahoma. But that offensive line is up for the Joe Moore Award. And if you go back to the summer, I had some Southern Cal fans push back on me when I said offensive line was going to be a big question mark for the team. It turned out you guys were right. I didn't say it was going to be a weakness. I said I think it's a question mark. Well, that question's been answered. I mean, everybody got tired of the Tennessee to LSU 2019 comparison. Well, allow me to be even more irresponsible. Let me make the USC to LSU 2019 comparison. I'm not talking about team versus team, but the 2019 LSU team, I remember when we were in the summer, their offensive line was thought to be a big question mark. And they went on to win the national title, and I think that team either won the Joe Moore Award or they were a finalist for it. Well, USC is the same way right now. They are tracking to be a playoff team. If they win the Pac-12 championship game this Friday night in Las Vegas, I think they'll make the playoff. At least that's one man's opinion here. They're favored by 3, by the way, against Utah. If they get in there, they got an O-line playing very well. They're playing the most physical brand of ball they've played all year. And by the way, that will be put to the test again against Utah. That's a team they scored more than 40 on and still lost earlier this year. So my advice is kind of use Utah's script against them. You just showed you got the capability to do it. So do it again. If they get in the playoff, especially this year, there is nothing that can't happen. There are going to be some people out there foolishly who tell you, oh, they can't do that. They can't beat Georgia. They can beat everybody. Everybody in that playoff is going to be able to beat everybody. This is not like years past. This is not a 1 or 2 team field. It will be a true 4-team field because there's no elite team in college football this year. What I'm trying to say is 2019 LSU, 2020 Bama would completely ravage all 4 teams that are going to be in this playoff. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So it doesn't matter what they would do because they're not in the sport this year. It's a good year to be TCU. It's a good year to be USC. It's a good year to be Michigan, as long as you guys make the playoff. Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure to leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.